We love examples in Saltu. This is an excellent follow-up example from the video I made a while back. The thumbnail of the video was relax when invaded and how to deal with enemy jungler invading you in your jungle red buff. So, the premise of that video is essentially just relax, just stick to your path, and I'll show you why this is a great example. It's mainly you don't want to play their game. So this is Leo here. As Olaf, he sees the enemy Lee Sin start his red buff. Panicking. Oh my god, I'm losing my red buff. I gotta go take his red buff. If I down a red buff, oh, I've lost the game. The game's over. This is exactly what Lee Sin wants you to do, guys. You know, and then as we can see here, Olaf just walks over a ward. Enemy bot lane collapses. Enemy Lee Sin's just crossing through mid. You know, even though Lissandra has priority here, it doesn't mean anything. She's level 1, guys. Can someone explain to me what a level 1 Lissandra does? Okay, everyone's level 1 in the game. It doesn't matter. I tell you what's the scariest thing: a level 2 Lee Sin with red buff. That's way scarier. Collapsing right here. Olaf burns flash. There we go. And this is, guys, why you relax, because if you make rash decisions like this, it will cost you the game. Okay, so you say, okay, Nathan, what's the alternative? So let's break down a couple of alternatives. Alright, so the number one thing that you always do is just get level 3, especially champs like Olaf. Okay, that's just the first thing you do. You're not going to walk around the map as a level 2 Olaf. Useless. Level 2 on pretty much most champs, except for maybe like, you can do stuff as Xin Zhao, Jarvan. That's really all I can think of right now. Okay, get level 3. Blue, Gromp, Wolves. We have so much vision of Lee Sin. We have so many options to adapt. And the great thing about this, guys, is that this actually doesn't really, if you don't play into Lee Sin's game, if you don't do what, you know, Olaf just did there, you can just track him for pretty much the entire early game. It's actually really easy. Especially in all his vision here. Okay, so let's say he does blue, Gromp, Wolves. Let's say a situation that Lee Sin does, you know, red straight to his red and he skips his Raptors. That's step number 1, all right? I mean, scenario 1 or whatever. Then that's fine. By the time he finishes his red buff, Olaf's literally going to be basically fully cleared. Maybe like that in another camp. And, you know, that's going to be, if he wants to get level 3, Lee Sin has to do both these camps. He will do technically like 3 camps by the time you've done 5 camps. Yeah. And then you can just take top crab and you're just chilling. Right? So you've got a huge lead. Like, you don't just run around the map and just automatically have all these camps just like one shot. I got a huge lead. That's not how the jungle works. The amount of time spent doing this takes a long time. And the great thing about this, guys, Lee Sin's not ganking and you're going to be able to track him easily, you know? So it's like, do you think Lee Sin's going to be able to gank like a Leona Varus bot with a Janna Ziggs? Like, maybe, but you can just tell your bot lane to back off or they can ward. Like, it's very easy to track. All right, the second scenario here is Lee Sin does red Raptors, and then you see him walk to his blue and stuff. That's fine. By the time you've seen him done that, you've basically cleared these camps, and then you can maybe go and invade here. Then you can do that, okay? Another option might be he does red Raptors, and then he goes and defends his camps. Bot side, that's completely fine. Because then what we could do is we could just, you know, move up to top side and we could maybe just come straight invade here or camp this, or if set, you know, or we could just gank top, you know, and that's actually the situations that I showed in that example of my last video. There'll be a link in the description below, but you can just search it up on my YouTube channel. So we have so many options here, guys, that basically should always like potentially net you a win. Like the only time that Lee Sin, this will ever work for Lee Sin is, again, like, you know, sometimes it's like, you know, if he actually wants to, he's actually completely fine, completely hardcore vertical jungling. And let's say there's a 3 camp and then like ganks this and he's just fine for his bot lane, you know, whatever. But, you know, that's very situational here. And if you think about it in this situation, would that be good? Aurelia here. Olaf, Varus, and Janna. 3-man dive in a Janna Ziggs. Yeah, I think that might be pretty difficult. Anyway, let's not get too much into that, but I just want to show you guys here. This, just relax. This is the worst thing you can do. You know, this is like the number 1 mistake you can do. Just don't play Lee Sin's game. Lee Sin wants you to go take his red buff, because then he just collapses and you're level 2 Olaf and you're useless and you have to burn flash and enemy teams will rotate in on you. Just relax. Get your level 3, step number 1 from these 3 camps. Blue, Gromp, Wolves. then make the play. Then figure out whether you're going to just ignore it and just go straight top, again in those examples that I showed in my last video, or you can just go and then you can trade sides of the map if you want to. The sky's the limit, but just don't do this.